Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rekakadash. Now, this is the 300-foot cross that's burning in or on Stone Mountain in Atlanta, Georgia. It was to commemorate the 1915 gathering of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, people don't understand who the Ku Klux Klan is under the control of. They don't know who's the Grand Dragon. They don't know who's controlling the Grand Dragon. You see, it's a mystery to most people. And so, you got many people coming up against the Ku Klux Klan. It was two notable people, was Stetson Kennedy and Larry Moore during the 50s, and you had Ida B. Wells documenting some of the atrocities that was going on. But once you realize who these atrocities was being orchestrated against, once you understand who those people are, then you get a deeper understanding of what's going on. And so you have to understand who these descendants of slaves that were so-called emancipated off the plantation in 1865. Who are these individuals? Why did they come to America with chains? Why did they get on these boats and ships and come to America? You know, that's the question you got to ask yourself, because a lot of people, they don't understand. They in total darkness when it comes to why these group of people, out of all the people in history, is being targeted and used in this manner. So when you go to the Bible, it gives all answers to all things, the Holy Bible. Now, first of all, you got to understand the God of the Bible, the God of Israel. He tells us in Proverbs 20 and 24, man, he says this in Proverbs 20:24, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? You see, how can a man even understand what he's doing? Then he goes on in verse 21, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. And so these men that's on the earth, they think they orchestrating and doing certain things, but they have no power. There's no such thing as free will. When you go into Proverbs 16 verse 4, it says the Lord has made all things for himself, yeah, even the wicked for the wicked day. And so these individuals don't understand what they're doing. You see, they thinking that they are orchestrating and doing something. 16 verse 9, it says a man's heart devises his way, but the Lord directs his steps. So you in your mind, you coming up with stuff, you devising a way to do a certain thing. But who is directing that? See, the Lord is directing that way that you have devised in your head. And all of that, you can put that along with the Amos 3 and 6 and say, if it's evil in the city and the Lord have not done it, that meaning he's speaking sarcastically, saying the Lord doing these evil things in the city. The Lord has done these things. These things is coming from the Lord for a specific purpose that the Lord has. And so when you look at this 300-foot cross that's burning in Atlanta, Georgia, which they now call Chocolate City, meaning this is the city with most of the so-called descendants of slaves, the so-called blacks, the so-called African Americans, the so-called Negroes, who are really the children of Israel residing. And there, the Ku Klux Klan have set up their main headquarters. Now, it started in Indiana, but this is the place where in 1915 they said they was gonna make a memorial, and they have the biggest memorial to the Ku Klux Klan in Atlanta, Georgia, on Stone Mountain. But the whole key is, who is these individuals that's being targeted, and why are they being targeted? It's not because of their skin color, and it's not because a group of men or a different nation want to keep them as poor people. That's not the situation. The situation is that these individuals have did something. They're not innocent. You see, when somebody's in prison, when somebody's locked up, when somebody's being restrained, they have done something. They're not just being punished and going through these things because they're innocent. Now, when you go to Deuteronomy 28:15, it tells you that if these individuals, that's are the Israelites, if they didn't obey, they would have curses that come upon them and overtake them. Meaning that they would have punishments. And the punishments is read out. Bit by bit, step by step. This is what's going to happen to you if you do not obey my words. Now he told them they're going to be cursed in the city. Meaning the jobs that you're going to have is not going to be good. You see, you're not going to be able to open your own businesses because they had businesses in Jerusalem. You're not going to be able to plant crops and use those crops to survive. You see, in Deuteronomy 28:48, he say that you're going to have to serve your enemy in want of all things. You see, then he gave them pretty much a guideline of he showed them who this enemy was going to be and how this enemy was going to be. In 49, he said, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee. So he's not just bringing random individuals to come punish you or to come put you in the captivity in different ways. He's bringing one nation, one nation against thee from afar. This is in Deuteronomy 28:49. As swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. So you're not going to be around this nation. You're going to be totally unaware of this nation. But in verse 50 it says, a nation of fierce consonants which shall not regard the person of old nor show favor to the young. So this nation that he was going to bring against the Israelites was gonna be of something pretty much not a good nation, and they wasn't gonna treat you good. Now when you go to Leviticus, it gives you some more details on this nation. He gives you some really good details on this nation. Let's see here. Leviticus 26:16. He says, Leviticus 26:16, I also will do this to you. I will even appoint over you terror. What does the Ku Klux Klan do? They terrorize people, the Negroes. Consumption and the burning ague that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemy shall eat it. 17. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies, and they that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. So you see, this was a representation. Now, this cross, it could have been in between two dates. They did it in 1948, and they did it in, I think, 1972. And so one of those dates, they put up this big cross and fought with the police, because the police tried to stop them. And so they made a truce with the police and say they want to go up and do a religious ceremony. And the police allowed them to go up on the stone mountain and put this 300-foot cross in on the mountain and set it ablaze. But when you look at the scriptures, and going back to Leviticus 26 and go to 25, he say, and I will bring a sword upon you, and shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, I will send pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. So the Most High, he just letting you know exactly what he gonna do with this nation that he gonna bring against you. And so this happened multiple times with the Israelites. The first time it happened, well, not the first time, but one of the time that most people will remember and think about is when they went into Babylon. Now, Babylon is a very important situation when it comes to the Israelites, because you got Babylon the Great. So you can parallel these two things, the old Babylon with Babylon the Great. But when you go to verse 27 of Jeremiah, the Lord said something that really explains what the situation is. Starting at verse 6 out of chapter 27 of Jeremiah, he said, and now I have given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and the beasts of the field have I given unto him also to serve him. You see, so he was using Nebuchadnezzar to serve his purpose. Nebuchadnezzar was his servant. And what did Nebuchadnezzar do? Nebuchadnezzar put the children of Israel in captivity. When you go to, let's see here, Nebuchadnezzar put the children of Israel in captivity, and so they was the servant of the Lord when they did it. Now 19, and I think 21. Let's go to 21 first. Jeremiah 21 verse 5. He say, "And I myself will fight against you with an outstretched hand and with a strong arm, even in anger and in fury and in great wrath." He say, in the verse above that, he said, "I will turn back the weapons of war that are in your hands, wherewith ye fight against the king of Babylon and against the Chaldeans which besiege you without the walls, and I will assemble them into the midst of the city." And so he was letting these Israelites know that he was going to put the king of Babylon against them. Going to verse 10, he say, "For I have set," this is Jeremiah 21:10, "for I have set my face against the city for evil, and not for good, says the Lord. It shall be given into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall burn it with fire." So this is the doing of the Lord. The Lord used Nebuchadnezzar as a servant, his servant, to go punish the Israelites for their disobedience and hard-headedness. And these Babylonians was not very nice to the Israelites. They terrorized the Israelites and burnt their city down. So these individuals don't understand that the Lord is fighting against them. These Israelites don't understand when they disobey the commandments, this law, the words in this Bible, the spirit of prophecy, which is the Lord. They making the Lord their enemy. Let me get that in Lamentation, because he said it clearly out of his own mouth. Lamentation chapter 2, verse 5. He said, "The Lord was an enemy. He has..." No, let's say that over. He said, "The Lord was as an enemy. He has swallowed up Israel." You see, the Lord made himself the enemy, and he brought an enemy against the nation of Israel to punish they behind. And see, that's what captivity was all about. It was about the Lord bringing wrath on the Israelites and punishing them for being wicked. And so when these so-called Ku Klux Klan members, they making sure that these Israelites is in captivity, they using Jim Crow to replace the foundations of the captivity, and they using all kind of methods to keep these individuals in captivity under them. And they using scare tactics, terrorizing the peoples, killing and torturing the peoples, and getting away with it. The people complaining and mad about the situation because they don't know who they don't know that they're Israelites, and that the Lord is punishing them for being wicked and disobeying his commandments from the past and the future. Because when you go, I'm thinking this is in Lamentation. When you go into Lamentations, and it talks about the Lord pretty much punishing the nation of Israel for the sins of their fathers. See, the sins of our fathers is coming upon us And we are being punished for what our fathers have done. And so the same thing is happening now. Lamentations 5 and 7, it say our fathers have sinned and are not, I mean they're dead, and we have borne their iniquities. So we borne the iniquities of our fathers, plus we still not obeying the voice of the Lord as a nation, and he's letting this other nation punish us. He even got a military squad to do so. And when you had the Civil War, the opposite side that so-called lost, all they did was transfer themselves from that until this Ku Klux Klan. And so that's the history of why the Ku Klux Klan even exists. It's got nothing to do with skin color, and it got nothing to do with economics. The whole situation is the Israelites is in captivity, and the Lord is still angry with them, and they're still in there being punished by the Lord. And see, they just don't understand. That's why they're protesting in the street when they're supposed to be protesting with getting on their knees and begging for forgiveness. But I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem and Kakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. The kingdom is at hand. Shalom.